And we're back. And this week I have a jam-packed show for you. Not only am I reviewing comics I read last week, telling you about the comics I'm getting at the store this week, but I also got a little interview with a man named Chris Simons, who owns I Like Comics in Vancouver, Washington, which is one of the biggest comic book shops in the Pacific Northwest. And he had a very special signing at his shop. So you want to stick around for that. And of course, nerd news in 60 seconds. So without further ado, let's talk comics. All right, so we're gonna start with comics I'm gonna pick up at the comic book shop this week. You guys know I go to Floating World Comics, located at 400 Northwest Cooch Street. That is my home-based comics store. And so I already put these comics in my pull box, and they already pulled them for me. I love all the people who work at Floating World Comics. Are so nice and so helpful, and they can help you find comics that you should be reading, but you're not. Like perhaps Jessica Jones' Blind Spot #1. This is a 6-issue miniseries written by Kelly Thompson, who I have said before I will follow into battle, and I maintain that. Now this isn't the first time this comic has come out, kind of. It's the first time it's come to print. It was a Marvel Digital original series, so some of you may have read it, but I have not. And the premise is that Jessica Jones was a costume superhero named Jewel. She wasn't very good at it. So now she's the private detective that I know her as. She's married to Luke Cage. They have a daughter named Danielle, and things seem to be going really well for her. The Purple Man is out of her life, and you know, things are just going all right. That is until, of course, the woman of a case that Jessica Jones recently botched ends up dead on her doorstep, and she becomes a suspect of murder. Now, I'm very here for the idea of superheroes and true-ish crime, as in crime that seems feasible, being mixed into... near the sports department and people are screaming. As in crime that seems feasible, I guess. So the idea of this comic really intrigues me, but I have to say I have read some Jessica Jones comics and I've never really loved them, even though I love the idea of her. She's snarky, she's strong woman power, she's a PI, she does investigative work. Like, these are all things that are just like ticking major boxes for me, but for some reason, I don't know, I just haven't fallen in love with the Jessica Jones series. So I'm really excited and holding out hope. I enjoyed the show. I really want to like this, and I trust Kelly Thompson. So I'm really excited to read it. Let me know if you're going to pick that up or not. You may have already read it, and if you have, what did you think about it? And the second comic I'm picking up is actually a second issue, which I don't normally do on this channel, but it's Skulldigger and Skeleton Boy. Now, I slept on it when the first issue came out. I got a presser sent to me, and I don't know what happened. I should have read it. It looked great. I've read things by Jeff Lemire before, and I've really liked it, and I'm a dum-dum. So I'm gonna read the first one, and I'm gonna pick up the second one, and we're gonna talk about both of them, kind of, most of the second one, after I read it. I'm really excited, and I know a lot of people are reading this comic, and again, I'm a dum-dum for sleeping on it. If you're reading it, let me know what you think about it. Here's the skinny. Basically, Skulldigger seems like this gray area hero. He may be a mass murderer, he may be a vigilante, but he's bringing up Skeleton Boy, who is an orphan. But as they're vigilanteing together, a detective is on their tail, trying to connect Skulldigger to murders that made Skeleton Boy an orphan. So I'm interested in all of these types of things. I'm interested in gray area heroes. I'm interested, of course, like we talked about, the PI and the true crime-ish. It's fictional, but you know, within the realm of possibility of real crimes. I'm interested in all that stuff. So I'm very excited to read this comic. I really regret sleeping on the first issue, and I apologize. Are you reading this comic? Are you interested in picking up the second one? Let me know. As always, I want to know what you're picking up at the comic book shop. I want to know what you think that I should be reading. I love recommendations. I will pick up your recommendations and I will read them. Just drop me a line here in the comment section or on Twitter. I'm real easy to get a hold of. All right, and now on to comics I picked up last week that you might want to pick up this week. I picked up Daphne Byrne. Now this is the first of the DC Hill House comics that I picked up, even though I've seen them around the store and thought, oh, those look kind of spooky. I found myself reading this comic like watching a horror movie. I was like, oh God, no, don't do that. Don't talk to the guy that looks like a zombie. What are you doing? No, this is black magic. Don't do that. Oh no. Of course, it didn't change the outcome of anything. Basically, 14-year-old Daphne Byrne's dad has recently died. Her mother is grief-stricken, goes to a couple seances, brings Daphne with her to one of them, and it looks like some of the bad witch stuff transfers onto Daphne and changes her luck a little bit, maybe. And it leaves you on this great cliffhanger where she meets this boy, he seems to be a boy, who just has a lot of really casual undead friends. And then you see Daphne and she's like on the bed looking like a little gremlin. I don't know. It looks a little scary to me. If you're into spooky stuff, this was a spooky comic. I was like a little tense reading it, you know what I mean? So I would recommend this comic if you're into spooky stuff. If you're not, maybe give it a pass. Now, the second comic I picked up was The Clock. Now, the premise of this comic interests me, the idea of weaponized cancer, which is horrific, but also sort of, I guess, interesting in a way. And there is an afterword by the author that leads me to believe that he's done a lot of research, as much as one layperson can, about this sort of thing, weaponized sickness, weaponized cancer, by talking to some actual people in the medical field, you know? So I thought that this comic's premise was interesting, but the writing didn't really grip me. I felt like some of it was kind of trite. I don't like saying that. I know people work really hard on comics, but it just wasn't my jam. It does end up on a cliffhanger that promises that the doctor, who is the protagonist in this comic, is going to find out that this cancer isn't viral like he thinks, and perhaps it is weaponized. So this comic does have a lot of promise for the future, but I don't know if I'm going to pick up a second issue. And last week, I went to I Like Comics in Vancouver, Washington for an unprecedented signing. All the Image Comics partners were there signing at this very large comic book store that I had never been to, and the line was out the door and down the street, and I was so shocked. And when I talked to owner Chris Simons about just how many people were there, he said, well, this is how we do it in Vancouver, and you know what, I'm on board. So here's what he had to say about that very cool signing.
It's never happened before. These 6 people have not been together for a signing. These are the creative officers of Image Comics, and they haven't done this before. So to be able to have something like this here in Vancouver, in the Portland metro area, the Portland metro area being the new home of Image Comics, is a huge deal. You expect to see things like this maybe in a Midtown Comics in New York, or Comic Experience in San Francisco. But to be able to have something right here in our little pocket of the Northwest is just astounding, and I never dreamed it would actually happen. Oh, believe me, there's a large part of me that just wanted to not unlock the door for any other fan and just say, no, I will be keeping the 6 of them to myself. If you all want to have this experience, you go open up a store and make this happen. But it's a wonderful thing to me, but I think what I've most been excited about is getting to share this with everybody, because none of what I have here, none of this store happens without everybody out there standing in line right now. And I am very aware of that and very grateful to it. So to be able to share this with all the people that have made it so I could have my dream job is the best part of it. Oh, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. You just got to jump in. Yeah, you're not going to be able to go in and read every Batman comic just to get to the newest one. But most of these, they have graphic novels that are pretty much always self-contained story arcs, and you're going to figure it out. You're going to find out, you're going to learn everything you need to learn just by starting on that journey. And there is something for you. I guess the best thing to say is, and you know what? This is true more of Image Comics than any other publisher. There is something for everyone. Whatever you're into, just like when you turn on TV and you say, okay, tonight I feel like a comedy, I feel like being scared. There's an Image comic for that, whatever you're in the mood for. Yeah, it's intimidating when you first walk in. And this is an intimidating store, no two ways about it. It's 5,000 square feet of comic-y goodness. That's a lot. So when they walk in, just let us know what you're looking for. All you got to know is how you want to be entertained the day you walk through that door. And we're going to take care of the rest for you. We're going to find that perfect read for you. We're going to walk you around the store. We're going to look for what you want. All you have to know is how you want to be entertained. I'm just grateful. I'm so grateful for all the people that come in and support us. I'm so grateful for all the people that took time out of their Saturday for this. I'm so grateful to the creators that came in. Comics are a unique and wonderful community. These guys that have flown here from all over the country to do this signing, they're not being paid for it. They're just doing this because they love their fans. And if that's a community that you want to be a part of that has that kind of love for its patrons, yeah, come on in. Let's get you into comics.
Great, that's all I have for you. Thank you so much.
You bet.
And now we're on to nerd news in 60 seconds. There's some trouble in Marvel Paradise. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is in need of a new director after Scott Derrickson, the director of the first Doctor Strange movie, stepped down as EP due to creative differences. Apparently this isn't going to halt when the movie comes out, but we'll see. Also, the filming of Falcon and Winter Soldier has been delayed due to earthquakes in Puerto Rico. I hope that everyone in Puerto Rico is okay and that they will recover from these earthquakes quickly, and we will see how long this will put off filming and whether or not it will delay the series coming out, which is supposed to come out later this year. There was a rumor that took the internet by storm that the Hawkeye series, including Jeremy Renner and our Kate Bishop, who has yet to be publicly cast, was put on hiatus indefinitely, but it looks like Disney has squashed that rumor. Also, look out for new trailers for the Morbius movie this week, which comes out July 31st, and also another trailer for the Black Widow movie, which comes out May 1st. This has been your Nerd News in 60 seconds. I realized I didn't shoot an outro to my video last week, so I'm here at Floating World Comics to pick up my comics for this week. I just want to say that I'll see you guys next week, same-ish time, same place, and until then, this has been KGW's Comic Pick of the Week. Hello, my future self. Hopefully you can use this one.